with my grandparents sitting in the flea markets of Florida. And when I was 8 years old, one of the guys across the way basically sold shoes, and everything was like $15 at the time. My grandparents, on the other hand, sold rolling papers, eau de toilette, and sunglasses there. The guy got sick across the way. He goes into his van, he slaps a money belt on me, and from then on I had to go basically and start selling shoes. So from there it was vacuum cleaners and cars and basically everything, but along the way since I was 15 I've basically been in business for myself or in a family business situation. Usually when I have time we do a whole thing about creating customers and sales and networking and all sort of stuff, but last year I ran into a problem on time with having 10 minutes. So what I did this year is picked up one thing that I really thought is probably something that you really need to know. Many of us in the short know basically there's a few ways that you go get customers. You either market, you spend a lot of money, advertise the traditional way. If you don't get the business, you hire a salesman to go out and find some business, or you basically, if you can't afford that, you go out in the beginning and go find the business yourself. You can go to many places. You can go to networking events such as these. But what happens with the entrepreneur, especially people who own a service industry for the region, so accountants, lawyers, plumbers, people who have to go around in this area, computer IT guys, networking seems to be the thing that most people wind up doing in the beginning. So I thought about it for a second, and I think really the biggest thing I can stress to you out of all the years, that it doesn't matter how good your marketing is, it doesn't matter how good your sales are, how many people you meet, but really at some point to close the deal you're going to have to follow up. And I thought that that's probably the most unique thing that I should talk about today, that I can actually give you some practical advice while starting out, is following up. So what I did is I made a quick steps. And follow-up is really about a system. As long as you create a system, and it doesn't have to be a contact management system that takes you 15 hours to put in every customer and tell it when to spit out the name and when you have to email and when you have to do this. What it really does, it's a system that you can follow, a system that you will use. Because if you don't use it, who cares how much time and a lot of people get wrapped up in that system at night, just hours on that computer trying to do that contact management software, and pretty much no one even knows what it means, especially when you start out. So you waste all your time. So a lot of things I did is bring it back down to common sense. You can always add to it. But what I find with a lot of entrepreneurs, especially who are starting their businesses later in life, coming from a corporate situation, they always had some backup. And over the years, the backup was less, but they had secretaries, or they already had someone build the contact management software. You just had to use it, or there were other resources. But when you start your own business, you are the only resource you have. So what I wanted to do is run you through a process. So basically what happens if you go to a networking event and you now got a stack of 30 cards. Very common when you're out in business and you're starting your own thing and you're trying to do it. Okay, great, I really did well today. I have 30 cards. Let's put those on my desk. Oh, wow, tomorrow came, more cards. Tomorrow came, more cards. What does that mean? Did you actually get any business from that? But everyone knows that, oh, I have to call somebody. But tomorrow comes a week, comes 2 weeks, comes 3 weeks. Next thing you know, maybe I shouldn't even call this guy because I doubt he'll even remember me. I don't know what our conversation was. So the first thing I always tell people is start while you're meeting the person and you have their card in their hand. The back of their card or a sheet of paper or something have some sort of system you use to let you know what the heck you want to do with this thing. A basic thing is maybe decide 3 categories that you want on the card. And if you look at my card, which I have a picture of on that sheet, my back actually has room for notes. And I use that so that people can write it, but also because a lot of people I see don't have cards you can write on. So I could take my card and make the note on it. The one major thing I do is if it's very important, I take the corner and I flip it over. So when I shove it in my pocket, I know right away when my cards come out, the ones that have the flip cards go into this pile. These are the ones I concentrate on immediately. Okay, and that means that even if I forget what I was doing, I know I want to contact those people, sort of a backup. I also try and categorize them why I'm there. So one thing I would do is figure out, let's take 3 categories. One, is it a business opportunity? Someone that you know is looking for your service or your product, they're hot, they really want something. That's the one that you want to flip that corner over. Next one might be a strategic partner. Someone, you know, I really need to get a hold of this person. They work in the same industry I do. They don't really compete with me, but really, you know what? They could be a good strategic partner that can help me do business and find my customers. Or the other one is, you know what? It's a person I know. I don't really think there's anything there, but I don't really have time to talk to them, but I really should stay in contact with them. Maybe they will turn into something, but you really have no idea. And from those systems, or when you write that on the back, and you can use a 1, 2, 3, you can use a check, you can use an X, whatever it is that you understand on the card. It's always good too that while you're talking with somebody or right after the event, that you go back before you leave or as soon as you get home and just quickly write the notes on the back of that card so while you're remembering the conversation. Because one thing that I will tell you about follow-up, there's many ways to do it, but I want you to think of gratitude and appreciation. It's a little bit different than what the old ways of doing things are, where you're always in it with a sales message, you're always in it with what's in it for me, give me, give me, give me, this is what I got for you, now buy it from me. It keeps you, when you're in gratitude and appreciation, from spewing sales gook all over people. And think about it this way. If you go to, you know, all these events, or even when you know some of your friends who every time you see them, whatever they do, you have to be doing it. And they're going to talk to you. It could be politics, it could be religion, it could be whatever it is. But whatever they're doing is the best thing, and you got to do it with them. And really, how long do you really like staying and listening to those people? You get sort of bored. Okay, already, I get it. You know, how's the family going? This, through gratitude and appreciation, if all of your follow-up is done through that, it's about giving without asking for receiving up front. Treating people as you wanted to be treated. And it goes a long way. And Moshe had said something in his presentation about when he was talking about treating his customers, send them a card, send them this, send them that. Part of your follow-up system, you can put all that stuff into. So think a little bit outside the box. So just real quickly, because there's probably about 3 or 4 minutes left, this is how I categorized. I left you the sheet. You could see some of the things I do with a immediate business opportunity. On here, I put a card reader in a little box. There's 3 programs that you can use. But the most important thing is if you're going to get a system, and with me it's turned it electronically so that it can work with all my, you know, even if it's Peachtree or whatever it is, QuickBooks, that I can use this data somehow. Some people like the old shoebox and tickler file. That's perfectly fine as long as you use it. So if you want to take this card and staple it to a note card and put down, I met him then, and put it, I want to talk to him in a week, and you got this divided into 52 weeks or whatever, and put it there, so when it comes on that week, you take it up, fine. I use electronic, so I like to just get it into a thing where I can get it onto a spreadsheet, or into an emailing program, or into some sort of other database that I can use. So I use scanned biz cards. It's right off of my phone. I can take a picture of the card, and it sends it out to, you got 2 choices. It will either turn it, character recognition will try and read it. Most of the time it doesn't do a great job of it. You still have to retype it in. I send it off to cyberspace. Somebody out there for 20 cents types it in and sends it back to me with all the cards I did that night. And I have it in a form where I can put it right into a spreadsheet. I can upload it to an email list and everything and put it that way. But usually get that data in a form you can use in about 24 hours, so that card you get. I use Constant Contact. There's another one that's local called Mustang List, and that's nothing more than your email service provider, where your email list where you can write your newsletters and you can do your things, and there's a monthly fee for it. But it seems to, for me, to get quite a bit. I always email, 24 to 48 hours, if it's important, contact, put newsletters, get a newsletter thing going, and then, depending what it is, send a thank you card. What I want you to do is strategic partners, same sort of thing. I wrote down a list of what I do at a timeline of what I think is important. You should do the same thing. Whatever your marketing or follow-up is, one of the tools I use is from Send Out Cards. I'm going to give you a card, and it's also here. You have a website called Stay in Touch Greetings. Go to that, use that system, and just send out a card, because that card system has on it contact management software, and it also has campaigning features, which means you can take a card today and turn it into 3, 4, 5, 6 touches in a year and not even have to worry about it. You could pre-plan your touches through that, and you can send birthday treats, and you can send, you know, all sorts of good stuff, and it's more personal, and that's that little something extra. So, because we are out of time, have some sort of contact system, follow-up system that you can use is the most important thing that you can do in your overall marketing and sales. And remember gratitude and appreciation. If you follow that, it will come back to you. It will take a little bit of time, but it does come back, and it comes back for a long time. And you're much happier, and your customers are much happier. So, thank you.